If you're watching this right now, there is a good chance you're tired. Not just physically tired, but emotionally tired. The kind of tired sleep doesn't fix. The kind that makes you question why you even started. And if that's you, I want you to hear this clearly. This moment right now is not proof that you are failing. It's a proof that you've been trying. Most people quit silently. They don't announce it. They just slowly stop believing. And the dangerous part isn't failure. It's convincing yourself that stopping is the logical thing to do. That this feeling means you've reached the end. But what if it doesn't? What if this feeling is actually a sign that you're closer than you think? There is a reason why giving up feels so tempting right before breakthroughs. Psychologists call it the valley of despair, a concept popularized in learning and performance research. Progress is not linear. At first, effort rises faster than results. You work hard, try more, sacrifice more, and see less. That gap is where most people quit, not because they are incapable, but because they misinterpret the silence as a signal to stop. But silence is not rejection. Silence is often incubation. A study from Harvard on habit formation and long-term goal foundation that found that people tend to abandon meaningful pursuits not because lack of ability, but because of misjudged timelines. They expect results too early when reality doesn't match. The expectation, motivation collapses not because the goal is wrong, but because patience runs out. And patience is hardest when you are exhausted. If you feel like giving up, it doesn't mean you're weak. It means you have been strong for a long time without the reward you hope for. Think about this. You have survived 100% of your worst days. Every single one. Yet your brain is telling you this time is different. It always does. Neuroscience explains why. When you are under prolonged stress, your brain shifts into threat mode. The prefrontal cortex, the part responsible for long-term thinking, goes quiet. In the amygdala, the fear center takes over. In that state, quitting feels like relief, like safety, like rest. But relief is not the same as resolution. As Viktor Frankl wrote in Man's Search for Meaning, when we are no longer able to change a situation, we are challenged to change ourselves. Frankl survived concentration camps. He understood suffering at a level most of us never will. And he discovered that meaning, not comfort, is what carries people through moments when giving up feels rational. Right now, you might be asking yourself, what's the point? That question doesn't mean there is no point. It means you are in pain. And pain has a way of shrinking time, making you forget why you started, making the future feel unavailable. So let me remind you, you didn't come this far by accident. You didn't care this much for no reason. And you didn't invest this much just to stop at the part that hurts. Angela Duckworth, author of Grit, spent years studying why some people persist while others quit. Her research showed that long-term success is far less about talent and far more about staying when progress feels invisible. Grit isn't passion, it's endurance through boredom, doubt, and disappointment. In other words, the urge to quit is not a sign you should stop. It's a sign you're doing something that matters. Here is something no one tells you. Quitting doesn't always look like failure. Sometimes it's look like relief. Sometimes it look like peace. But weeks later, months later, it shows up as regret, as quiet thought you can't shake. What if I had stayed just a little longer? And that thought wastes more than effort ever did. So instead of asking, can I keep going? Ask a better question. Can I take one more step? Not forever, not perfectly, just one. James Clear talks about this in Atomic Habits. He explains that when goals feel overwhelming, the solution isn't motivation, it's reducing the scope of action. Make the goal smaller than your resistance. Progress doesn't require confidence, it requires movement. And movement creates hope. Even now, you don't need to see the whole path. You just need enough light for the next step. Martin Luther King Jr. said it the best. Faith is taking the first step, even when you don't see the whole staircase. Right now, your job isn't to win. It's not to prove anything. It's not to feel inspired. Your job is not to quit on bad days. Rest if you need to. Pause if you must. But don't confuse exhaustion, because one day, maybe not today, you'll look back at this version of yourself, the one who almost gave up, and you'll realize something powerful. This was the moment that separated who you could have been from who you became. So if you're still here, still listening, still breathing, stay. Not because it's easy, not because it's guaranteed, but because you're not done yet. Thank you for watching. See you next time.